Good afternoon. Sri Ghulam Nabi Azad, Minister of Health and Family Welfare, Sri Santosh Choudhury, Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Sri Lav Verma, Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Jagdish Prasad, DGI HS, Dr. K.K. Kar, Director, PGI MER, Dr. V.C. Garg, Dean, Postgraduate Institute of Medical Education and Research, distinguished members of the faculty, distinguished guests, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a privilege for me to be present here amidst you this day for the foundation celebrations of the Postgraduate Institute of Medical Education and Research of Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital. I am also glad to have the opportunity to see so many young faces, young doctors who have received their postgraduates degrees today. Dr. RML Hospital is a premier medical institute which was earlier known as Willingdon Hospital and Nursing Home, which has been in the service of humanity for more than 8 decades. From a humble beginning, this hospital has now evolved into a state-of-the-art tertiary care facility. From 50 beds in 1954, its inpatient health care today comprises over 1,200 beds. Dear students, distinguished guests, the PGI MER was established on this day 6 years back. It was set up to develop PG level medical education and to produce specialists in different 101 postgraduate and 26 super specialty seats and is known for its academic excellence. I compliment the faculty, the management for its stupendous progress in a short span of time and urge them to continue working hard. It is heartening to note that the Institute has some grand plans for the future. A new super specialty block and additional super specialty courses have been envisaged. These will raise the academic standards further and at the same time benefit large number of patients. I look forward to an early realization of these initiatives. Dear young doctors, I congratulate you, all of you, on receiving your PG degrees today. This degree is a dividend of the nation's investment in you. It has empowered you to contribute to the society, to touch and transform the lives of people. Remember that patients do not visit hospitals on their volition. They do so when circumstances warrant them to do. They go with an unflinching belief and faith in being cured by the marvel of modern medicine. Be the torch bearer in mitigating their sufferings. Your zeal to serve people must be unwavering always. In this temple of learning, you have been introduced to frontline medical technology. You have participated in the investigation and treatment of challenging ailments. During your training here, you have had the opportunity to learn the mysteries of the human body. As you receive this honor today, I am sure you feel indebted to all those suffering people who became your blackboard. Distinguished guests, dear students, good health as an attribute of the human well-being precedes every other possession of mankind. Many years ago, Lord Buddha observed, and I quote, "To keep the body in good health is a duty, otherwise we shall not be able to keep our mind strong and clear." Unquote. A healthy population exhibits a greater disposition towards seeking education, acquiring knowledge, and accessing employment opportunities. Their health is true reflections of a country's progress. A healthcare system resting on essentially trinity of availability, affordability, and quality is a sine qua non of the developed country. In India, extending the circumference of our country's health coverage has been a long-drawn endeavor. In 2005, the National Rural Health Mission was started to take healthcare to the doorstep of the rural population through a network of sub-centers, primary health centers, and community health centers. Better infrastructure, trained manpower, effective drugs, modern equipments have improved service delivery. This mission has now been extended to the urban areas. Yet, a world-class healthcare system eludes the common man. Its reach to the last mile is not free of hassles. The quality of healthcare delivery is found wanting at times. These limiting factors have led many people to rely on costly medical treatment of heart in the private sector. High medical expenses can cause a setback in the lives of the poor people. Patients with economic difficulty should not stand denied of the proper medical care. In this context, I want to underline the need for health insurance mechanism to work effectively to provide relief to the people during medical emergencies. Under the Rashtriya Swasthya Bima Yojana, beneficiaries are entitled to cashless inpatient treatment. This facility should be comprehensive and made available for primary, secondary, and tertiary health care. We should ensure its benefits covering every pore of the country. Dear students, distinguished guests, technology is the messiah of modern day world. Path-breaking initiatives in different fields have the imprint of cutting-edge technology. In healthcare, technological applications have brought about a silent revolution. The telemedicine project using the satellite technology has helped establish linkages between the health centers in remote areas and super specialty hospitals in urban areas and facilitated expert healthcare consultation reaching the needy and underserved. A technology-led health sector will make effective provision for the services possible. Healthcare is a potential hotbed of the technological pursuits. Discovery of better formulations, indigenous production of sophisticated medicinal equipments, and development of nutritional and disease surveillance mechanisms are areas that call for innovative research. I am sure our medical scholars and researchers and development centers are ready for this challenge. For India to progress, to be reckoned as one of the leading nations in the world, we have to build our soft power, and for that they need to invest adequately in human capital in any layman's case. Public expenditure on health in India is 1.2% of GDP, much lower than 4% plus levels in the countries like US, UK, Australia, Norway and Brazil. To enhance people's capabilities by ensuring health and nutritional security, the expenditure levels have to rise. The private healthcare providers also have to be encouraged and suitably engaged to provide quality healthcare services. Augmenting public resources will not automatically translate into expansion of the health infrastructure unless there is adequate number of competent healthcare professionals to serve in this sector. There was about 241 medical professionals, including physicians, dentists, nurses, pharmacists, and other professionals per 1 lakh population of India at the end of the 11th five-year plan. It is envisaged to increase the density of the medical professions to 354 by the end of the 12th plan. Expansions of the medical education infrastructure deserves, that's why, top priority. Introduction of new medical schools and capacity augmentation of the existing ones is necessary. In this context, it is gratifying to note that 6 AIIMS-like institutions have been started. The faculty is the custodian of medical education. All concerned with the management of the medical discipline has to undertake faculty development with ceaseless energy. Advances in medical science occur at lightning speed today. Our medical scholars have to continuously upgrade their syllabi and frequent review the horizon of their research activities. Distinguished students, guests, the medical occupation is associated with piety. It is a unique blend of science and humanity, healing the sick, nursing the bedridden, are poised as God's own work carried out through your hands. You are often placed on the same pedestal as divinity. You must respect the sacred trust that people have reposed in you. You must be ever willing to comply with the demands of sheer hard work and sacrifice of your profession. You must always remember the true meaning of the Hippocratic oath you took on entering this noble profession. Reputed medical institutions like yours have a duty to develop a humanistic approach in the young doctors and orient them towards a value-based career in medicine. I hope that you all will remain firm in your conviction to the highest objectives of selfless service to society. I wish you all success in life and career. I also wish the doctors, faculty members, and others working in this great institute good luck. With these words, I conclude. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind.